Right now, somewhere beneath the ocean's surface, 100 sailors are sealed inside a steel tube with no windows, no sunlight, and no way out. They are breathing recycled air, sleeping inches from live torpedoes, and sharing 2 washing machines with the entire crew. The water outside their hull is pressing down with enough force to crush the vessel like a tin can. And they chose this. U.S. Navy submarines dive past 1,000 feet, carry enough firepower to level a city, and disappear for months without a trace. But here's what nobody talks about. How do the human beings inside actually survive? Not the mission, not the weapons. The living, eating, sleeping, staying clean, and staying sane inside a machine that was built for war, not for people. The answers are more surprising than you think, and once you hear them, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. Let's talk about where these sailors sleep, and forget everything you think you know about tight spaces, because an aircraft carrier rack feels like a hotel suite compared to what submariners deal with. Your bed is called a rack. It is roughly 77 inches long and 27 inches wide, stacked 3 high in a compartment with dozens of other sailors. The mattress is a thin foam pad. From the top of your mattress to the bottom of the rack above you, there is maybe 20 inches of clearance. You are not sleeping in a bed. You are sliding into a horizontal slot and hoping you are tired enough not to care. But here is where it gets extreme. When a submarine takes on extra personnel for training deployments or special missions, there is simply nowhere to put them. So the Navy does what the Navy does. It improvises. Those extra sailors sleep in the torpedo room. Think about that for a second. Temporary racks are set up directly alongside secured Mark 48 torpedoes. Curtains hang between sleeping sailors and live weapons. Submariners have a nickname for this arrangement. They call it the bridal suite. And somehow, with the dark humor that only comes from people who have actually done it, they say the space is not that bad. You actually have more room than in other parts of the boat. There's no natural light anywhere in the berthing areas. No windows, no portholes, no sunrise to tell your body what time it is. Sailors wake up under artificial light, work under artificial light, and fall asleep under artificial light. Days blur into weeks. Weeks blur into months. The noise never stops either. Unlike the flight deck thunder on a carrier, the sounds here are more insidious. A constant mechanical hum, the groan of pressure against the hull, pipes clicking, system cycling. It seeps into your sleep and stays there. These sailors aren't just physically confined, they're psychologically sealed inside a world with no outside reference points at all. And they do it voluntarily, every single one of them. Now let's talk about food, because feeding 100 people when you're sealed underwater with no supply ships, no ports, and no second chances requires a level of planning that most people never think about. Number 17, meatloaf with tomato glaze and green beans. Before a submarine leaves port, the crew loads roughly 15,000 pounds of food. That's it. No resupply runs. No mid-deployment deliveries. No calling ahead to the next port for fresh groceries. Whatever goes on board before departure is everything the crew has for the entire mission. Every meal, every snack, every cup of coffee for months, already counted, already stacked, already rationed before the hatch closes. Here's the first thing that disappears. Fresh food. Fruits, vegetables, dairy gone within the first 2 weeks. After that, it is canned goods, frozen meat, and whatever the culinary specialists can creatively put together from what is left. And this is where those sailors earn serious respect. Number 17, meatloaf with tomato glaze and green beans. Tuesday's Blue Plate leads into a story about how 100 sailors get fed for months underwater. The galley they're working in is smaller than most home kitchens. 1 griddle, 2 fryers, 2 ovens, 3 steam kettles. That's the entire operation. Inside that tiny space, they produce everything from hearty Italian dishes to Mediterranean-inspired meals, rotating the menu constantly to fight the creeping monotony of months beneath the surface. Managing all of it is an officer the crew calls the CHOP, the Supply Management Officer. This person is responsible for tracking every pound of food on board, planning every meal across the entire deployment, and making sure nothing runs out before the mission ends. It's a logistics operation disguised as a kitchen job. But here's what nobody tells you about food on a submarine. It's not just fuel. In an environment with no sunlight, no outside contact, and no personal space, mealtime becomes the closest thing to normal life that exists down there. The galley is where sailors decompress, joke around, and briefly forget they're hundreds of feet underwater. And the single most important piece of equipment on the entire boat, according to the crew, not the sonar, not the navigation system, the coffee machine. Always full, always on, non-negotiable. Staying clean inside a sealed steel tube with over 100 people and no connection to the outside world. Start with water. Even though nuclear-powered submarines generate their own fresh water through advanced reverse osmosis systems, converting seawater into something drinkable and usable, conservation is still non-negotiable. You are not taking long showers. You are not letting the tap run. Every drop is accounted for. Navy shower rules apply here just like on a carrier, but enforced even more strictly when there is no resupply option and no flexibility. The bathroom situation is exactly what you would expect from a vessel where every inch of space is contested. Shared facilities, tight scheduling, zero privacy. You go when your schedule allows. You make it quick. You move on. Then there is laundry. 2 washing machines, 2 dryers. For over 100 sailors. That is the entire laundry operation. Wash times are assigned and coordinated around watch rotations, so the machines never sit idle, but every sailor eventually gets their turn. Miss your slot and you are waiting another cycle. On a submarine, even clean socks require advanced planning. There is also a small barber shop on board. 1 chair, 1 set of clippers, 1 more piece of the puzzle that keeps sailors in regulation and gives them a thin but real connection to the routines of normal life. Something as simple as a fresh haircut matters more than you would think when you have not seen sunlight in 3 weeks. But here's the hygiene detail that most people never consider. The AIR itself. Deep inside the submarine, carbon dioxide scrubbers run continuously, pulling carbon dioxide out of the recycled air circulating through the vessel. Carbon dioxide burners neutralize carbon monoxide and hydrogen. The crew is breathing manufactured air, filtered and recycled around the clock every single day. Think about that. Every breath these sailors take has been processed by a machine. In an environment where you control almost nothing, cleanliness routines become one of the few anchors to normalcy that actually belong to you. Here's the question nobody asks, but everyone should. What happens to your mind when you spend months underwater with no sunlight, no outside contact, and no personal space? Because the physical challenges of submarine life are one thing. The mental ones are something else entirely. Start with light, or the complete absence of it. There are no windows on a submarine, no portholes. No way to tell whether it's noon or midnight without checking a clock. Your body never gets the natural daylight cues it depends on to regulate sleep, mood, and energy. Add rotating watch schedules that constantly flip your sleep cycle, and your internal clock does not just get disrupted, it gets completely dismantled. Then there's the noise. Not the dramatic roar of jet engines like on a carrier. Something worse. A constant, low, mechanical hum that never stops. Pipes cycling, systems running, pressure groaning against the hull. It becomes the soundtrack of your existence. You stop noticing it consciously, but it never lets you fully rest. The Navy understands that morale is not a luxury. It is a mission requirement. So even inside this crushingly tight environment, space is carved out for treadmills, stationary bikes, and resistance machines. Exercise is not optional down here. It is one of the primary tools for managing stress, maintaining physical readiness, and giving sailors something to do with the psychological weight of confinement. There are medical and dental facilities on board, staffed and ready. Because at 800 feet underwater, there is no calling for help, no medical evacuation, no emergency room. Everything that could possibly go wrong has to be handled internally, by the crew, with what is on board. What holds it all together is culture. The inside jokes, the nicknames like Bridal Suite, the rituals built around watch schedules, meal times, and small shared moments. Submariners build an identity around the very extremity of what they are doing, and if you want to see that identity pushed to its absolute limit, look at ICEX. Arctic submarine operations, minus 40 degrees above the surface, crushing ice overhead, the most hostile environment on Earth, and they train there voluntarily. Everything we have talked about, the racks, the galley, the recycled air, the torpedo room bunks, all of it exists inside a machine that someone had to design, build, and trust with human lives. So let's talk about the vessel itself. It starts at Newport News Shipbuilding in Virginia, one of the most sophisticated manufacturing facilities on the planet. The foundry alone processes roughly 1,000 castings a year. A single metal pour can weigh 21,000 pounds. Workers use advanced alloys and high-strength steels, shaping components that will eventually hold together under pressures most engineering teams never have to consider. There is zero margin for error. A flaw in a casting is not a defect report. It is a catastrophe waiting to happen 1,000 feet underwater. The hull takes shape when welders join prefabricated steel sections together, piece by piece, forming the cylindrical pressure hull that will eventually separate 100 sailors from instant death. The sail section gets lifted by cranes and lowered into position. Massive shipyard transporters carry stern sections between facilities. The entire process is a choreography of precision engineering that takes years and costs billions. Then comes the nuclear reactor. This is what separates a modern submarine from everything that came before it. The reactor generates electricity, powers the reverse osmosis systems that make drinking water, drives propulsion, and gives the vessel virtually unlimited range. No refueling stops. No dependency on surface supply ships. A Virginia-class submarine can remain submerged for months, limited only by the food supply and the endurance of its crew. Navigation happens without GPS. Underwater, satellite signals do not reach. Instead, navigators rely on inertial navigation systems and sonar bottom contour charts to calculate the vessel's precise location and orientation in total darkness. The torpedo room houses 4 tubes, a weapons launch console, and the handling equipment needed to move weapons weighing thousands of pounds. This is the reason the submarine exists. And when the build is finally complete, there is a christening ceremony. Celebration, tradition, speeches. Then the hatch closes, and it disappears beneath the surface. Silent. invisible, ready. So that is the reality. Darkness, pressure, recycled air, and months of silence. No sunlight, no space, no escape. But here is what stays with you. Every single sailor aboard a submarine volunteered for this. They knew exactly what they were signing up for, and they chose it anyway. Not because it is comfortable, because it matters. It is not the reactor or the torpedoes that make a submarine dangerous. It is the 100 people inside it. Their discipline, their resilience, and their willingness to disappear beneath the surface, so the rest of us never have to think about what is down there. Could you do it? Let us know in the comments below.